From the Scripps School of Journalism in the Schoonover Center in Athens, Ohio, this is Gen Z Up to the Ballot. Welcome to the 4th edition of Gen Z Up to the Ballot. I'm Sullivan Beach. And it is now getting close to the holidays, and with President Trump officially becoming the president-elect almost a month ago, American citizens have now had time to get used to the news, and we have seen President Donald Trump face some criticism of his new cabinet picks, like Tulsi Gabbard as the director of national intel, and Robert Kennedy Jr. as the head of Health and Human Services. All of that said, we saw Trump win the popular vote with 49.9% of the popular vote. As the presidential transition continues, some politicians like Governor Christopher Newsom are prepared to voice their opposition against the new President CNN Steve Large, has more on why Governor Newsom of California is prepared to Trump-proof his state.
Hey, brother. How are you?
Newly elected Assemblymember Jeff Gonzalez arrived for his swearing-in ceremony with his family as one of 3 Republican lawmakers that flipped their district from Democrat to Republican.
That's why I think we flipped, because they saw someone who cared about community first and not about politics.
On this day of ceremony and celebration, he is also ready to voice his opposition to a special session called by Governor Gavin Newsom to Trump-proof California.
I think it's a waste of money and a waste of time.
Meaning we can roll over and just allow progress the last half century to evaporate.
The governor spoke to reporters about this new day for legislators and bracing for a White House he says will be intent on retaliating against California.
We're preparing for that in a more sober way. Hopefully, we won't need to exercise any of it. Hopefully, we won't need to utilize any of the resources that the legislature will provide us. But if passes prologue, then we most certainly will.
Newsom's plan calls for a $25 million litigation fund for the Attorney General's office that would help defend the state from what he describes as possible unlawful federal actions. And he wants the new legislation signed into law by January 20th, the day of Donald Trump's inauguration. Freshman lawmakers, even on opposite sides of the aisle, were embracing on this first day in office. Sade El-Hawari is a newly elected Democratic lawmaker representing Los Angeles.
I think what it means for us to continue to divide, because, based on party lines, is not going to work for us. Our communities are asking for support. They're yelling it out.
Ceremony and smiles on day one.
Californians have woken up.
And the seriousness of a first assignment, debating Donald Trump's White House in Gavin Newsom's special session.
Again, Governor Newsom's litigation fund and legalization will not be until January 20th. We'll have to wait and see if other politicians will take similar action against President Trump during this presidential transition phase. And after repeatedly saying he would not pardon his son, President Joe Biden has done just that after Hunter Biden was charged with federal tax and gun convictions. CNN senior justice correspondent Evan Perez has the story.
President Joe Biden has pardoned his son Hunter Biden, saying that there were signs that his son was being selectively and unfairly prosecuted. Now, Hunter Biden was facing the prospect of spending several years in prison after being convicted on gun charges in Delaware and on tax charges in Los Angeles. Now, the president has repeatedly said that he would not pardon his son. Take a listen.
Let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
You have.
In a statement on Sunday night, the president said, "The charges in this case came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigating them to attack me and oppose my election." He also goes on to say that for my entire career, I have followed a simple principle. Just tell the American people the truth. They'll be fair-minded. And here's the truth. I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process, and it has led to a miscarriage of justice. Now, Joe Biden took office in 2021 promising to restore faith in the justice system, and this statement on Sunday night indicates that he believes the justice system has failed to treat his son fairly. Now, Hunter Biden will be covered under this pardon for anything that happened between 2014 and 2024. So the question remains whether Republicans in Congress and whether the incoming Trump administration will find new reasons to investigate Hunter Biden and the Biden family, as they have said they repeatedly would do. Evan Perez, CNN, Washington.
President Trump stated on social media that this pardon was an abuse and miscarriage of justice. Hunter Biden also released a statement saying that he takes responsibility for his mistakes and that he will spend his life helping those who are sick and still suffering. Now it's getting close to the holidays, and with the end of the semester here at Ohio University, that also means finals week. With finals week, that brings a lot of stress, not only from exams, but from traveling home as well. Gen Z Up to the Ballot reporter Shane Scalfaro has the story.
After coming back from Thanksgiving break on December 2nd, students at Ohio University have 2 weeks to build up excitement for Christmas break. Standing in their way, however, are the stresses of the dreaded exam week.
Oh yeah, it's definitely jammed in. Like, you think you get a break for a second and then you have to come back to just like everything all at once. So it's definitely stressful.
But once those 2 weeks are over, students can head home and take time off knowing they've completed the semester.
It's nice to relax and not worry about anything for once. It's nice to have no anxiety again, even though it's just for like a month.
But of course, to get home, you have to travel, which can bring its own stresses.
Almost every time I drive home, it rains. So like every time I'm on the highway, I'm like scared I'm gonna like hydroplane.
Sometimes the traveling stress depends on the circumstances.
I don't have too much because I'm not super far and it doesn't snow as much down south, but I mean, it is a little stressful when it does get snowy. Luckily, it's usually later in the year.
Once students arrive home, the stress of college and travel starts to fade away, and holiday celebrations begin, which means spending time with the ones you love.
I feel like it's mostly just time to spend with family.
It typically means family, going home, getting to see people I haven't seen in a long time.
And when students walk through their door, the only thing on their minds is enjoying their time off. Reporting for Gen Z Up to the Ballot and Athens Midday, I'm Shane Scalfaro.
Thank you to reporter Shane Scalfaro for that story, and that is all the time we have left for today's show. But remember, we provide facts and opinions, but at the end of the day, it is up to you to decide. And that is all we have for Gen Z Up to the Ballot. Thanks for watching. From the Scripps School of Journalism in the Schoonover Center in Athens, Ohio, this is Gen Z Up to the Ballot.